Good morning guys and girls. I took my last video down yesterday that I unboxed this little 1/12 scale MN D90, I think it's supposed to be, because he had my music playing in the background and it came up with copyright, so I had to delete it. So just a quick one today. So yeah, I unboxed it, had a quick look around it. It's pretty decent, hard body. I think I've got the older version because you'll see in the video in a little bit that I post up when I did a bit of a test of it outside. It's got no proportional steering or throttle really. It's all or nothing, steering's all or nothing, which is pretty shit, and it only had front lights. Now, I have seen these before, and a friend of mine's got one, and it's got all proportional steering and throttle and lights front and back, and everything else. So I'm a little bit disappointed with it. So anyway, I ended up fitting all the bits and bobs that come with it, which is the door handles, excuse me, filler cap, mirrors, bonnet vents, hinges, wipers, and rear light lenses. And then he also, take the body off so it's a bit easier. And then he also added some camel stickers and National Geographic stickers that he had lying around off another truck. So basically, yeah, you'll see the video, and it was just a lot of crap. So I wasn't happy with it, so I come home and then I ended up stripping it. So if I just take this battery cover off and I'll show you what I did. So now I've took all the crappy Chinese electrics out of it. I fitted just turn this light on if it'll come on. If you can see, that might be a bit too bright. So you can see now I've fitted a digital servo, 339 size, on the front there. I kept the original linkage from what controlled it in the first place. So if I just show you what this is the main electrics that was in it. So this is the main board, which is the ESC, and all the other bits plugged into it, the lights plugged into it. And then you've got this motor. I've took this casing off. That's the motor that controlled the steering. You just have 3 gear sets like that, and it's absolute crap. If you look back on the previous videos that I've done, when I've converted the Rastar cars, it's pretty much the same as what was in them. So I've done exactly the same to this as what I did to them, only I've used a 20 amp ESC rather than a 10 amp ESC. So I don't know if you can see properly there. You can see that light's gone off again. Turn that up a bit. So you can see there I've used a long servo arm, but then I noticed that when the steering was going a particular way, the arm had bent outwards. So I got another part of a servo horn, chopped a straight bit off, and then glued it to the back of this servo arm to make it double the thickness and double the strength. I mean, there's play in everything. It's not a very decent model, but wheels and tyres are pretty hard. It's not a crawler. It's more of a like an off-roader for sand and dirt, maybe grass. But saying that, I've not tested it yet since I've converted it, so I've not put everything back in properly yet. I've put a power switch back in, but I'm waiting for a light kit that should be coming today. This was the radio that come with it, cheap plastic crappy thing. So I've put this one in it, which I had on a Rastar police car. You've got an off switch, you've got a 3-channel switch there, and you've got a button there, so I can turn the lights on and off with that if I decide to fit a switch to power them lights. So what I did with the receiver is I put it on the bottom and then glued the servo on top of the receiver, and then the battery tray mount just fits perfect on top of there. So the only thing we've got to do is figure out, just to hide the ESC a little bit. I've not tidied these wires up yet, because when my light kit comes today, I'm going to fit that on the back here, and then I can feed all the wires through to the front along the frame, or I might even run them along inside the body, which is probably the better idea if they're going to be put into the light buckets. So I'm going to do that today. And then a small, I think it's a chap make figure, I put him in there, but there's no room for him. His legs are right up against the steering wheel, so luckily his legs come off without me having to chop them off. So I could put them in the back, I suppose, and he could be an amputee with false legs. Anyway, he looks a bit like me with a ponytail. So that was just to finish it off a little bit. Just, you've got to have a driver in your models, don't you? So see if we can give it a quick power up. It's got a 7.4 volt 500 mAh battery. I don't know how long it's going to last, not very long probably. If we just plug it in now, and you'll be able to see the proportional control. Just have a quick drink. You'll be able to see the control a lot better of the servo. Also, what I did have to do late last night was, I'll show you that in a minute. I'm going to turn this on. So now, rather than having full steering like that, I can now have proportional steering. I mean, the travel isn't all that great anyway, and you can see. So I've turned that down best I could a little bit, just trimmed it out. And then what I had to do was last night, because you normally have throttle and then brake and then let off and then go to reverse. Well, that was the other way around, but I already had to reverse the settings on here, so that didn't help. So the best way to get about having forward and brake rather than reverse and brake, I just swapped the wires around on the motor, desoldered them, and then just swapped them around. So now I've got forward and a stop and brake, let off, and then backwards, whereas before it was just forward and backwards, and the brake was in reverse. So that's backwards and forwards now. Forwards, brake, let off, reverse. So that was a simple fix just by swapping the motors around. And then also with this controller as well, you've got a lot more control on the travel on your steering. So you've got your buttons in here. Whoops. So you've got your buttons in here. So I've got the throttle set at, I think it's 70, in between 50 and 75. So you can turn that down and just have it slower. I can turn it up to full, which is obviously what you want. You can leave it on full, but you can still travel slowly. So I'm happy with that. I liked that. Then obviously I can change the steering trim, throttle trim, which I had to set because it kept going forward on its own. And then I can also change the steering travel. So that's on as full as it'll go. You can see when it does that, it's pulling it up slightly, which is no good on one side. And it doesn't go any further than what it does if I turn it down to 50% anyway. Well, less than 50%. So there we are with that. So like I say, I'm just waiting for the light kit to come, and then I'm going to go and fit that, and then I'll go for another little run outside, and that'll follow me. That'll follow this part of the video. So, right, let's just wait for the light kit to come then. Here we go, we've got the light kit here that's just arrived. Let's see what this consists of, I should say. Well, that's good that everything's all plugged in, ready to go, so that's good. I've got too many 5mm bulbs which I'm not. Straighten them up to stop them folding back on me. Put the glasses on so I can see what I'm doing. Tamiya hop-up options. I didn't realise it was a Tamiya. Front left turn in, front right, forward indicator, rear left turn in, tail light, backward brake indicator. So I don't know what all that's about. So I'll go ahead and take that off there, and we shall take the battery tray back off, and then we'll go and connect it up briefly, see what's what, see which, and then I shall hopefully not take too long to install this. I'm hoping it's going to fit there where I originally planned it to fit. I've got to make sure that that'll fit in there. If it doesn't, then that might be too big, and that could be a problem, but we shall see. Right then, that was a bit of a mission. So I fitted the light kit. That one that come today, the actual unit was too wide, too high to go between the chassis and where I wanted it to fit. It was too wide, so I just used the lights off it, and luckily I had another smaller control box that I put in there. So if you can see, I'm there now. I fitted the light kit, so the main control box is under this box at the back here. I didn't have enough lights to run reverse lights. I didn't have 3mm lights on the back, so I've left them off for now. So it's just got indicators and normal lights, and on the front normal lights as well, but they're not plugged into the control board. I ended up having to just plug them straight into the receiver. Well, they all come on at the same time anyway, so I've kept as much as the original steering linkage as I could, and then I also mounted I had the original, so the ESC is right at the front, little ESC there. You'll see that when I turn it on in a minute, and then inside here, where the on-off switch was underneath, on this new ESC that I've put in, I've repositioned it here. The transmitter's not turned on, so it's a lot better when you plug the battery and you can turn it on there at the same time. So I'll turn it on, turn that light off so we can see what we're doing. Turn that on. Oh, makes that noise sometimes if you're not, you have to reboot it. There we go. There we've got the normal lights on the front. Indicators, normal rear lights at the back, and also indicators as well. I wanted to use these ones next to the main lights is the reverse lights, but like I said, I didn't have any. I was going to plan on getting some next week and refitting it, but to get all that stuck in there, once I'd put the control unit in, it was a bit of a mission. I don't know if you can see. You can see down in the side there. You can just about see the control board. So that is squeezed tight in there. Like I said, I've kept most of the original linkage, so rather than all or nothing like it was, we've got a nice proportional. Lifting the way it does there, I can turn the control down a little bit. Turn the travel down, I should say. Yeah, that's why it's on 70%. Turn it down to still doing it for some reason, but I can't get away. I can't get away from that. That's the way it is. See how it lifts up when I turn to the right. Well, that's okay. It's just the way that this linkage is, because I've kept the original linkage. I've tried to faff about and do that as best I could. I've cut all that out underneath to give it plenty of clearance, but it still lifts up. So anyway, there's not a lot I can do about that. It's just the way it is. Doing no harm. So straight away you've got backwards and forwards, but I've got a brake, so I'm happy, happy, happy. Better than it was. I'll give it a bit of a blast outside. See where we're at with that. Sounds good. On to the next one. Thanks for watching. See you later.